Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the We're Not Stumped podcast. I'm your host, Mike Bolland, and welcome to the three top stories. The three top stories for the week of December 2nd. Today is December 5th. So a couple of house cleaning items first. If you're listening to a podcast, go to the description of the podcast. There's a link in there where you can immediately click it, and it'll send me like a text through the app that I use for my podcast. So look for something called fan mail, and then click that, and you'll get a hold of me real quick. If you want to just email me at mike@we'renotstumped.com. Pretty easy. Do it. I'd love to hear from you. Love to hear from as many people as I possibly can. This is fun doing this podcast, and I want you all to share in the fun. You want to be on the podcast? Let me know. Matter of fact, I had a gentleman reach out to me. I'm going to be doing a recording with him on Monday. I guess that would be the 9th, is it? Yeah, the 9th. Yes, it will be the 9th. And he invented something for wheelchairs that enables it to go faster and use it in sports. He just reached out to me yesterday, so I haven't done a lot of research, but I'm excited to learn more. And that's the whole thing. Learning more, sharing the information with everybody that listens to this podcast means a lot to me. A couple other things. Tuesday, December 3rd, an episode with Leticia Junkins came out, and she lost her right leg below the knee to flesh-eating bacteria. I thank her so much for being on the podcast. I very much appreciate it. She tells her story, and she tells her story about how she was able to overcome some challenges in her life, whether it be mental or physical, to get where she's at right now. So she's doing great, and I thank her for being on, and I urge everyone to listen to that podcast. On December 13th, I'm going to be the MC for a really cool event here in Arizona, the Junior Achievement Golf Event. Junior Achievement in Arizona is a very big organization, and they do great things for the youth. And I'm very honored that they asked me to be the MC of their golf event on December 13th. I'm going to have a lot of fun with them. But if you want to learn more about Junior Achievement, just go to juniorachievement.org. Really great organization. Speaking of great organizations, really good news on a personal level for me. I've had people from Ability 360. I've had Nick Pryor and their CEO, Chris Rodriguez, on. They, as an organization, asked me to be part of their board of directors. So I met with their board of directors last night. What a great group of people they are, first of all. And I was very honored to hear today that they accepted me to be part of the board of directors for Ability 360 here in Arizona. That's where Camp No Limits was when they came into town, and I volunteered for them. Great facility, great organization. They're doing great things for a lot of people. So very honored that they asked me to be on their board. And if you want to learn more about Ability 360, go to ability360.org. So now let's get into some of the top stories. I'm going to do two top stories, and I'm going to highlight one organization. So let's go to the first top story. And this top story is courtesy of medicalexpress.com, and it's with an express, no E.com. It's by Gillian Rutherford, and the headline is New Device to Rewarm Frostbitten Hands and Feet Can Prevent Amputations. So it's kind of interesting. A University of Alberta team has developed a device to provide more reliable, aseptic, and economical treatment for frostbite to be used in emergency rooms, shelters, and even outdoors. The team features Matthew Doma, RN, adjunct professor of critical care medicine in the faculty of medicine and dentistry, and co-principal investigator of projects looking into frostbite cases in Alberta. This device, known as the Precision Warm Water Circulator, is inspired by the sous-vide cooking method, which I'm not familiar with, because it provides continuously circulating water at a precise temperature. And in the case of this device, it's between 37 degrees Celsius and 42 degrees Celsius. The device is portable, operated from a cart, and can be supplied with a battery pack. The water basin is 20 centimeters deep. And here's a quote from Dr. Doma. Evidence reviews shows that the best possible treatment for frostbite is immediate or rapid immersion in circulating warm water. And that was a quote from Dr. Nurse Doma, who helps write treatment guidelines for the American Red Cross and the American Heart Association. Doma said his team considered the alternatives and came up with the device as a solution to all other methods' problems. An example, a tub of warm water cools too quickly. Running water from a tap is not always consistent in temperature, risking burns to the skin. and sinks are not sanitary. Tucking frozen hands under your arms, which many have learned as a child, might warm the hands that are cold but does not prevent enough heat to remedy the frostbite. And his final quote, "We need to aggressively rewarm and see if patients are candidates for intravenous medication therapy," Dorma said. Well, congratulations on this new device, and I hope it helps a lot of people not have to get amputations. That's a great story. If you want to learn more, remember, go to medicalexpress.com and look up frostbitten hands. I'm sure you can find it that way. I'm going to have the link in the description, as I do the fan mail, but there will be a link in the description if you want to learn more. So let's go to top story number 3. This one's very interesting. This one comes from the Longview News Journal, Jordan Green in particular, courtesy of Jordan Green. And you can find this story at news-journal.com. And here is the headline. On horseback journey from Oklahoma to the Kansas line, America's amputee stops in East Texas. I don't know how he got to be known as America's amputee, but God bless him. Most horsepower, here goes the story. Most horsepower along the highway these days is created in a steel engine block where fuel and fire fuse to combust to let drivers race from one place or another. But this month-long trek along the highway and byways of Oklahoma and East Texas, Sean Heron has relied on the kind of horsepower that needs alfalfa, sweet feed, a saddle, and some tender, loving care. Since leaving his home in northern Oklahoma in October, he's ridden his trusty steed, Odyssey, with the horse's sister, Storm, carrying supplies at his side. Heron knows what it's like to be on a long journey somewhere, and he spent his life fighting an uncommon battle. This is the result of a childhood electrocution that left him with half an arm. When he was 2 years old, Heron was at the clothing manufacturing company where his parents worked in his hometown of Blackwell, Oklahoma. He saw a gap in a fence surrounding the 3 electrical transformers and crawled inside. He placed both of his hands on the transformers and on the back of his head, and the back of his head touched an electrical wire. Wow. Heron's right arm had to be amputated, and the electrocution destroyed most of his muscles, nerves, and growth plates in his arm. What he has for an arm is disfigured, disformed, but not useless. Heron was 16 days into his second year on Earth when he was electrocuted. He spent 4 months in the hospital and endured 40 surgeries. Doctors were not holding out hope for him. The prognosis was, "I had to have brain damage." This is him, I'm quoting him now. This is what his prognosis was. "I had to have brain damage. I would never probably walk or talk again. I'd never have a job. I'd never have a normal life. I was going to probably be a vegetable or close to a vegetable the rest of my life because the brain damage would have been so severe." But Heron proved them wrong, though not effortlessly. An IQ test later revealed that he's near genius level, and that gave him great motivation to move towards his dreams, but not at the ease of acquisition to fulfill them. Life was this continuous physical challenge. It never ended, he said. Again, this is a quote from Heron. "When you're 2, you're still figuring out how to do things. And then I had to learn how to rewalk because my body's weight was different." Physical challenges, though, were only the part of the struggle. In school, Heron was bullied relentlessly. But he'd been through enough of a mental battle that he wasn't emotionally rocked by the insistent, almost daily jeers of his peers. He's gotten to where he is today, figuratively and literally, by taking one small step at a time. That's what everyone is afraid of. It's like looking at a big picture and trying to overcome it and how they're going to take it on instead of just taking it one little baby step moving forward, Heron said. And it's like, what more can you do than start moving forward and start moving your feet? Well, good luck to you on your journey, Mr. Heron. You can find out more. That was a snippet of the article. The article is it's a very long and well-written article by Jordan Green. And again, you can find it at newsjournal.com to find out a little bit more about Mr. Heron. But good luck to you. Good luck to your horses, Odyssey and Storm. And we certainly hope you get to your destination and continue to be an inspiration to everyone in the limb loss community. So next, I want to highlight an organization. I started to do this about a month ago. Just find an organization out in the ether, go to the internet, look up organizations, and read a little bit about them and go, gosh, that's one I want to spotlight. And today's organization that I want to spotlight is called Helping Hands Foundation, and they can be found at helpinghandsgroup.org. So here's a little bit more about what they're about. I'm going to give you their tagline, the Helping Hands Foundation, connecting families of children with upper limb differences. And from their About Us page, every year, 1 out of 2,000 children in the United States is born with an upper limb abnormality. During childhood, many more lose hands and arms to accidents and or disease. That's interesting. I didn't know 1 out of 2,000 children, because I was one of those children. I didn't know it was 1 of 2,000 children in the United States. Let's talk about their mission. We have a continuous goal to provide support, share experiences, and supply information to parents, affected children, and their siblings. We choose to focus on the individual child and the challenges they may face. We emphasize their abilities, not their disabilities. In support of our work, we often may inform families of regional services and regional resources that are available, but we do not endorse any specific institution or medical treatment. One of our top priorities is to reach parents of the newborn with upper limb abnormality. New parents can be given hope and encouragement through our extended network of parents. That's great. I'm going to stop here and just give you some of my personal thoughts on that. As a person born like they're talking about, my parents had no idea. Listen, my parents did a fantastic job. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I am in life. So it's not to say my parents needed anything like this. And I'm sure they would have accepted it. I don't mean it that way either. But it's so nice and so comforting to know that now there's organizations like this, that when a child is born like me, they can go to an organization like this and talk to other families. I think that's huge. And especially when they brought up the siblings too. You know what? I got a brother and sister right now I'd like you to talk to. I don't care if we're older. I'm kidding, of course. But I think it's a great thing that this organization is doing. So let me talk about their philosophy. I'm going to read about their philosophy, and then they have an event coming up at the end of January I'm going to talk about. So their philosophy. The philosophy of Helping Hands Foundation is to provide parent-to-parent support and information. Oftentimes, a phone call or an email is all it takes to put parents at ease in the early stages as they deal with their children's upper limb difference. We are here to listen, answer questions, and share our own experience. Additionally, we offer 2 family outings each year for the entire family to enjoy. A special bond often develops between parents, it's true, affected by children and their siblings when families get together to share ideas and experiences. These social events offer an informational atmosphere for parents to meet each other and for children to interact with one another. In addition, relevant topics and issues are addressed through our websites and speakers. That is such a great thing, and I promised you their next event. Let's talk about it. On January 31st of 2025 at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, they have an event. It's the winter outing in Massachusetts, it looks like. New adult activity for 18 plus, Friday, January 31st from 12 to 4:30 p.m. Of course, they say watch for details soon. Here's what they have on there so far. Our 2025 annual winter event will be held on January 31st through February 2nd, 2025 in Massachusetts. Our wonderful volunteers are already hard at work creating a fabulous weekend for you and your families. And this includes speakers, crafts, activities, mentors, and more. You must be a member to receive the official RSVP and agenda by email. Go to helpinghandsgroup.org and make sure you don't miss any invite information. Go to Join Us. Go to their Join Us. They have a Join Us link at the very top. So go ahead and hit that. Registration and more details, like the exact location, will be emailed to our members in advance. Mark your calendars now. So when you click Join Us, there's different membership levels. There's an adult, there's a friend or relative, which is free. There's something for parents, which is free, and a professional, which is free. So it's really cool. Go to helpinghandsfoundation.org to learn more. And it looks like a great organization. It actually helps people with something very similar, something that I went through, my whole family went through. So great job by everyone there, and keep up the good work. I'm sure you will. You don't need a hand from me. Keep up the good work. So that's it for top stories for the week of December 2nd. Remember, if you want to get a hold of me, do it. Just do it. Mike at we'renotstumped.com, or if you're not close to a browser, you're not close to your computer, just go to where you're listening to this. Go to the description, hit fan mail. It will open up a browser and you'll be able to contact me, and I want to hear from you. So as I do every week, I'm going to end it with this. I hope you don't get too sick of hearing this from me, but here's what I want from everyone. Everyone, have a great week.